Hi again, this is Bill Palm, and this is going to be clip number 10 on the Seagull and Surf at Sunset Bay series. And I may be able to wrap it up in 2 or 3 more, or maybe 4 more clips. Today I'm going to work on the pine trees, starting at the upper left. Now I want to do this fairly quickly, and I want to use the same colors as I was using before. Notice that as I come down, I want to be varying my color. That was kind of like sap green mixed with a little phthalo blue, and here we're using a little more sap green. Notice that I'm going to paint the top of the bushes as I go across. Now, picking up a little cobalt blue, a little yellow with it. That would be Joe's yellow. Same basic colors as before, pigments. Now, you notice that what I do is I use a kind of a little line to guide where I want to put my tree, and then I just follow the line down, sometimes with some variations shot in there halfway, trying to get kind of a random ragged edge. It looks kind of like a pine tree. They don't have to be perfect, and we can shape them by ad-libbing. I used a little phthalo green there with a little permanent Alizarin Crimson. Gives me a little darker value, a little variation on what I've been using. Notice I'm trying to vary the distances some, not a lot so far, and also the height of these as well as the color, varying everything as we go across. At this point I'm going to pick up a little bit of water in my flat brush and kind of like make it leak in a little bit there so I don't get too much of a hard edge all the way across. Back to my sap green, which is basically my basic color that I vary as I come across. Let's leave a little gap here. Come down here. Same basic. Sometimes I go to the top and give it a little flick like that, see, which you'll see on those pine trees. While it's still wet, I'm going to come in and add just a few touches of the red, which is my tang color. I want to keep cognizant, that means actively aware of the bottom edge here as I go across. So I vary it, like you'd get a variation in some foliage. I wanted to paint these pine trees because I'm getting a little nervous leaving this masking tape on here so long. So sometimes it wants to bond with the paper and I don't want to tear the paper. So when I take it off, I'm going to be real careful, go slow, make sure I'm not damaging the paper, because I want to paint some on that nice little seagull friend we have there. There we go. Okay. Now, I don't want too many little white dots in the middle. And notice I'm joining all of these trees together into one line, one grouping, left to right. I'm going over and picking up some yellow into my green, so I get a little yellow-green effect here. Yeah, nice. Okay. I like it so far. Let's hope we can keep liking it. Coming over here, do a little Couple of guys here. Notice I just wiggle it back and forth. If you try too hard on some of these things, they just wind up looking surrealistic and bizarre. But if you get a little, just a little bit messy, it can work like magic. Don't want too much of that color right next to my edge of that tape for my bird. There we go, good. Got a little red trunk there, that was kind of neat. I have a kind of a big guy here coming down over my bird, highlighting the wing, and I should have brought those guys down, or I will now, a little lower here, and cover that edge more. There we go. Mixing in a little yellow, a little cobalt blue, just moving around between my greens and my blues and my yellows to get a variety that I want. Okay, we're getting there on our time, but doing well. Let's come down and soften that area a little bit there so we don't have a hard line all the way along, which would look unnatural. It's a little light. That was phthalo green coming in, pulling up a little yellow, and dropping a little yellow in there for a nice effect. There, I think I just kind of like work on my spacing and make sure I don't get them too uniform. Looking like a bunch of soldiers standing at attention. We don't want that. And we're getting close to the end of our 10-minute allowance here. So we will work at wrapping it up. See if I can get the color varied anyway. Not going too fast. Notice you want ragged edges on these trees. We identify trees by their outline, their silhouette, more than internally, see. So when I go internally, I'm going to work at adding few details, not a lot of details. Notice also that I'm building this painting up in degrees. I work on a section, work it up to a certain degree of finish, and then I move on to another one. I don't want to finish anything totally throughout the painting at one time. At least that's the way I work. Others work differently. But so I can get a feel for the balance of the whole thing and how it's developing. So I don't overdevelop one area and make it stand out or look kind of strange. And we're just about there, so I'm going to quit there. I'll come back, and I should put some pine trees over here and some other bare pine trunks that were standing out on this island when I saw it the day that I sketched it in the field. So I hope this was interesting to you and that you get something out of it. And we'll see you next time.